Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather This Morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather This Morning at 7 a.m. I'm meteorologist Maggie McCauley, checking to make sure everything is running smoothly out there this morning before we get started here in the Room to Room Weather Center. I want to start off with what we're dealing with right out the door this morning. And some of us are dealing with some showers and storms, especially if you're in Northwest Mississippi. Now, I want to make this clear, zoom out and show you Northeast Mississippi not dealing with anything. I'm tracking showers and storms at the top and western portion of the state right now. So that's where we're tracking these out. I'm going to pause this. You can see this heavy batch of rain about to pass over 55 between Hernando and Coldwater this morning. So if you're traveling along 55 or 51 this morning from Tate County, Panola County into DeSoto County, and then eventually into Memphis, just know you are going to be dealing with some very heavy rainfall that will probably bring some delays in roadways this morning. So that's what we're dealing with. Lots of lightning with this as well. So that's how we know it's a little bit heavier. It's also tracking straight off to the east. So I am going to track off these showers and storms out there for you. We'll push it into Marshall, Benton, and Tippah County. But one thing I want to note before we move forward is you might notice that these aren't as high resolution as we usually look at. That is because the radar site that we usually look at for portions of the Northwest Mississippi, the northern western portion of the state, we usually look at the radar site up in Millington, which is just north of Memphis. However, it is down. So we're having to look at these storms all the way from our radar site over in Columbus. I was going to see if that would load up, but it will not, because there's also radar site at the airport. It just does not stretch as far. So yeah, we're keeping our eye on this. We're just having to do it from a little bit farther away than we usually would like to. So keep an eye on this. Nothing severe at this time, just some heavy rain moving through right now. I want to track out kind of this entire line as it makes its way off to the east. I'm going to have to edit a few things here behind the scenes, but we'll track it out. Again, nothing severe at this time, but if you are traveling along these areas in the further northern western portion of the state, you're dealing with some heavy rainfall at times. So let's talk about it. It's going to be in Lewisburg around 7:05 a.m., Antioch around 7:09, Cockrum around 7:09 as well, Stonewall 7:11, Byhalia 7:16 a.m., Wakefield around 7:17, Rock Hill around 7:19, around Red Bank around 7:30, Wyatt 7:31, Tullahoma around 7:34 as well. I guess I could just look forward on the screen. So as that moves through, again, not looking anything severe, but definitely some heavy rain that will wake you up this morning if you're not already awake, and also, as I said, make you have to slow down on the roadways this morning as well. So that's the overall view of what we're watching. Again, this is what the usual view that we see. Hold on, let me go back and show you that before we move into those visibility concerns that are also still there for Northeast Mississippi. But here's the view that we usually look at, Mississippi Live Radar. So you can see that most of us are very dry this morning. Again, you got to go all the way up to the northern and western portion of the state to see any rainfall, but as you do, they are getting in on some very heavy batches this morning. You're not dealing with rain, you're dealing with visibility concerns. Take a look at this. Still seeing visibility concerns out there, some patchy dense fog setting up. These numbers have gotten better over the past 30 minutes, but they're still there, anywhere between 0 up to 1 mile of visibility in places like New Albany, Bruce, Houston, Starkville, down the Golden Triangle region, all the way up into Tishomingo and Alcorn County as well. So still dealing with this, especially in Northeast Mississippi, and still dealing with the dense fog advisory because of it as well for a majority of our counties all the way through your 10 o'clock hour out there this morning. We could see it on some of the roadways. Take a look at this over in Blue Springs. Not too bad out there as of right now in all those MDOT traffic cameras, but you can still see some patchy dense fog out in the distance. So that's what we're talking about in the outlying roadways in your neighborhoods. That's when we're going to be dealing with that patchy dense fog concerns. Temperatures in the 60s. So definitely not cold out there this morning. Here's a live look over in Lafayette County, Oxford, Mississippi. Just taking a look on those roadways this morning. Again, not dealing with some dense fog, at least within the city of Oxford. Temperatures right now in the 60s for the most part. Some of us hanging out in the 50s. 57 in Starkville, 59 Eupora, 59 in New Albany, 61 in Tupelo, 62 in Oxford, 61 in Water Valley, 63 in Grenada. So 60s for the most part out the door this morning. Definitely not cold by any means. Your first 12 hours ahead, you can expect another warm day. It was warm yesterday. We hit 80 in Tupelo. We'll be back near there today, but I think a lot of us stay in the 60s or the 70s. I wish we stayed in the 60s. 65 by 8, middle 70s return by 11, upper 70s for a majority of us into your afternoon with rain chances continuing. Very isolated to scattered in nature. We'll talk about who has the best chance of seeing those, but still chances remain as we head into your afternoon and evening. Middle 70s by 5, back in the 60s as we head later on in the evening. Let's talk about your overall picture of satellite and radar this morning. You can see that heavy batch of showers and storms actually lying in places like Little Rock, Arkansas, all the way into portions of Dallas, Texas, kind of stretching through the southeast, all riding along the stalled boundary that's setting up just north of our area. These storms are going to continue to slide off to the east and impact us for our day ahead. So that's why I say we're dealing with it in northwest Mississippi this morning. The further or the closer you are to that Tennessee state line, the better your chances of seeing these showers and storms continue for your mid-morning and early afternoon hours, because that's who's closest to the stalled boundary within our area. That's going to continue to lift off to the north, and as we start off our Friday, we could see a few showers out there, but it's mainly the afternoon when we could start to see a few more pop up here in North Mississippi. Very scattered and isolated in nature yet again for your Friday, but a few of those that pop up could bring some heavy downpours. That main line won't push through until we head into the later hours of your Friday, into the early hours of Saturday. A few of those could try to hang out for your Saturday morning, but for the most part, we're going to be drying out there for Saturday. So got any Saturday plans? Actually looking very nice out there with that front pushing in, northerly wind pushing in as well, and some clearing conditions finally starting to take place. Coming up next, we'll talk more hour by hour of what you can expect for your day ahead. We'll talk about those rain chances hour by hour all the way through Friday, where they're looking to set up and when exactly instead of that regional view. That's coming up next. Also, a full look at your 7-day, and hint, hint, there's some cooler air coming at the very end of your 7-day. So you'll want to stick around and see just how cool things are going to be getting. Those details are coming up right after this.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day's a new opportunity.
That's cool. Your hand's gotten so yeah.
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-tirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Maggye McCauley.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday out there too. And as always, thanks so much for joining in here on Mississippi Live Weather out the door this morning, dealing with some rain for some, not for all. I want to show you who's getting in on that rain this morning. I want to show you an overall view more of national radar before we really get in on the overall picture of what's going on this morning. So let me give you an overall view. I'm going to zoom out and show you what's ongoing across the United States this morning. Take a look at radar. So this is looking at rain all across the southeast. You can see some heavier downpour stretching stretching from places like Texarkana all the way up into central Arkansas, and that same line is stretching into North Mississippi this morning. So we're kind of getting the cutoff of that overall system. Also some rain up to the north from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, all the way into northwest Arkansas as well. So multiple bands of rain impacting the southeast this morning, but what's impacting us? That is a good question out there this morning. I want to show you an overall picture of where the rain is in North Mississippi after we just saw that larger view. It's in northwest Mississippi. So folks over from Hickory Flat, New Albany, and east and south of that, not dealing with any rain this morning. However, if you are planning to travel along 22, 55, 51, 61, you name it, coming into Memphis this morning, you are going to be dealing with some very heavy rainfall. I just tracked out this one spot storm that I've really been watching out there this morning. Nothing severe, I want to say that, but definitely on the stronger side at times with lightning associated with it. Heavy rainfall. This heavy storm just passed through, or is really currently passing through 55 and 51 across those interstate systems from Hernando to Coldwater. So as you're traveling, if you're planning on getting out from Senatobia, Como south, traveling up to the north, you're going to be dealing with some very heavy rain out there that's probably going to lead to some delays in your overall timing getting wherever you need to go this morning. So be careful, take it slow out there, as we're going to be dealing with some rain in this area continuing over the next few hours ahead. You can kind of see that overall movement. It's going to continue to track off to the east. Want to give you a timing on it for places like Marshall County. Oh, give me a second, guys. I didn't mean to draw that. As we get into the next coming hours. So again, this is really making its way off to the east. I'm going to go ahead and put a little track on it, even though it's not severe. It's very heavy rainfall out there this morning. Not something you particularly just want to deal with as you're getting out and about, taking the kids to school, or as you're headed to work this morning. So as this slides off to the east, it's going to be in places like Cockrum around 7:16 a.m., Bowman 7:18, Wakefield around 7:23, Warsaw 7:27, Watson 7:28, into places like Watson Center around 7:29, Red Bank 7:39 a.m., Holly Springs 7:51 a.m., Lake Center around 8:06 a.m. So those showers and storms are going to continue to slide off to the east. The good news is they're projected to weaken as they do. So that's something that we're holding on to. Again, nothing severe, but definitely some heavy rainfall. This is an overall picture Mississippi Live radar this morning. This is what we usually show when we're not zoomed in again on that rain this morning. And you can see most of us very dry. You have to go up all the way to the northern and western portion of the state to get in on any rainfall out there this morning. So that's some good news. Now, if you're not dealing with rain, I do have some not so good news. You're dealing with a lot of visibility concerns. Take a look at this camera still over in Tupelo. Got to tell you where it is because you can't tell. We're dealing with some patchy dense fog still out there this morning. A little bit of a better view over in Lafayette County. This is over in Oxford. Pretty view. You can see all the fall foliage. But yes, still dealing with some visibility concerns out there this morning for northeast Mississippi. So even though you're not waking up to some rainfall, you're dealing with some patchy dense fog. Make sure to keep your beams on low and take it slow out the door this morning. Airport delays, still tracking our three main airports that we have really this past 2 weeks, from Phoenix, Chicago, and LaGuardia Airport, top three airports in the lower 48 that have still some major delays with them this morning. Make sure to keep an eye on your flight status if you're hitting the airways. Second, here in North Mississippi, temperature is going to be in the 60s and 70s over the next few hours, middle 70s by 11, keeping about a 10 to 20% chance going up a little bit because those storms are going to continue to make their way off to the east in the coming hours. Today, another warm day out there, not 80. We hit 80 in Tupelo yesterday. Most of us in the upper 70s, still near 80 this afternoon with some scattered storms in the mix as well. So let's talk about it. I want to show you who has the best chance. I told you these storms are going to continue to slide off to the east, impacting northwest Mississippi between now all the way through noon. So got any plans from Clarksdale, DeSoto, Tate County, Senatobia, South Haven, even Holly Springs and Oxford, you're going to be impacted with some rain as we head before noon. As these continue to slide off, watch what happens. As they make their way east, they do start to dissipate a little bit. They start to weaken. So that's some good news. But hey, still folks over in New Albany, Boonville, Red Bay, and North still could see some rain as we head into your early afternoon hours. Just not looking as strong as it is this morning. Going into the later evening, we're going to be seeing this kind of start to dissipate. So that's some good news. Things start to dry out a little bit as that front continues to lift off to the north. And then we get ready for our main day of rain, which is Friday. So got any Friday plans? Stick with me. I'm going to take you hour by hour. Waking up on your Friday morning, not looking too impactful out there. Could be tracking maybe a spotlight shower or two, especially into those same areas, northern Mississippi. But it becomes a little bit more prevalent as we head noon and on, seeing a few more heavy downpours out there. That's going to continue into your afternoon. Very isolated in nature, but I would just encourage you to keep the rain gear handy in case you get under one of those heavy downpours. Now let's talk about your Friday night football games. As you're starting off, I cannot guarantee everybody's going to get a heavy downpour, but I do want you to know if you do get under one of those, I just encourage you to keep the rain gear handy if you're headed to those Friday night football games, because a few of those, again, could be on the heavier side of things. You don't want to be stuck without the rain gear. Watch as we head after 7 o'clock. You can see that activity becoming more prevalent, especially in the northern half of our area, all leading up to about 10, 11 o'clock. So as we get later on in those game times, a little bit more likely that you get impacted, especially if you're from Lafayette County, Lee County, and also sitting in areas north of that. This line that sets up between 11 o'clock and midnight is that main line with that cold front that's going to be pushing through our area. So more rain expected into the overnight hours. As for your high school game of the week presented by KC Lott, we're looking at a warm start to games with temperatures near 70s, 60s by halftime, still sitting in the 60s by the time you're headed home from those games. And you can see rain chances do go up as we head halftime into the final snaps of those games. That cold front is going to be pushing through overnight and making for a mainly dry weekend ahead. We could see a few showers trying to hang out for Saturday morning, but for the most part, we start to dry out. So if you got any plans for your weekend, you're actually looking good to go. How much rainfall could we see from this system after the next 3 days? I'm thinking anywhere between a quarter to a half of an inch of rainfall. As for high temperatures, we start to take our downward trend over your next few days. Middle 70s for Friday and Saturday, 70 Sunday all the way into Tuesday. As we head Monday into Tuesday, we're going to be watching another system, you guessed it, bringing more widespread rainfall into the mix early on into your Thanksgiving week, dropping our temperatures. Take a look at this, 60s out there for Wednesday, 50s by Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's going to be some cooler air kind of dragging in behind that front that happens early on in the week. So if you're looking forward to some cool conditions by your holiday, you are going to be getting it. I encourage you to keep checking up. We're looking at much cooler conditions coming into the forecast. You can see it here with your temperature outlook in the end of November, early December. Much cooler and even cooler than average conditions settling in here in North Mississippi. And I think a lot of us are looking forward to it because we're actually sitting over 10 degrees warmer than where we should be this time of year today and also into tomorrow as well. So 70s out there Friday and Saturday with rain chances still sitting in the forecast out there for your Friday. And then our next system after Friday we're going to be focusing on actually comes into play Monday evening, overnight, and then into early Tuesday. That's our next system we're going to be watching for that, yes, does bring some cooler air in by Wednesday and then into your Thanksgiving holiday. Make sure to tune in with us. We'll be live one more time at 7:30 this morning. We'll track out where that rain is coming up at 7:30, and of course, a full look at your forecast all coming up then.
One in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
You wonder how they're going to experience the real world in real safety, where all kids are welcome and everyone has a path forward to new skills, advancement, leadership, something they will carry with them the rest of their lives.